Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and it's Women's History Month, and I'm here today to talk to you about Wonder Woman, the 2017 movie. So this is a very, very, very good movie, in which I enjoy, but I've only seen it twice. I watched it many years ago when it came out, and I owned it on DVD. However, I haven't rewatched it since even buying it on DVD until just recently and everything. And it's not because, it's a terrible movie, because it's not. It's just I've been busy. Like I said before, I have not had time for my DVDs since streaming has taken over, which really sucks. And yes, I know it is on streaming. And yes, I have HBO Max. But what's the point of me watching it on HBO Max if I own it on DVD? This is why physical media is important, because now stores are no longer selling them. Best Buy is completely empty of their physical medium when it comes to that of DVD and Blu-rays. Oh, how times have changed. I just remember 20 years ago being in college and buying DVDs from inside Best Buy. Not no more. So anyways, this movie stars that of Gal Gadot and that of Chris Pine. It was directed by Patty Jenkins. More on her a little bit later. And, I remember, I've been a Wonder Woman fan ever since that Justice League cartoon. Bruce Timm and, that version of Wonder Woman, like, she was so awesome and everything. I never watched the Linda Carter show, although years later, I watched like a couple of scenes from the, what is it? Me something TV, that that old people channel from older shows and stuff, just to see what it was like. I love the theme song. I love Linda Carter. Her version of Wonder Woman is very dainty. I'm just like, how is she supposed to be strong, running and hitting like that and stuff? But anyways, different times. And so that's a very different like Wonder Woman show. And then I talked about that 2011 TV pilot, which wasn't as bad as people keep saying. It just needed a little work. And although this is a very good movie, I gotta tell you once again, I forget what year this came out, 2008, 2011, the animated Wonder Woman movie. Oh, it is superior to this live action movie in every way possible. The plot is modern, but still old school, and they handle it and balance it very well. The action is amazing. The story is great. The acting is awesome. Although sometimes the woman who voices Wonder Woman kind of dips in quality in her voice sometimes, but still overall good. The animation is great. It is a very superior movie to that of the live action Wonder Woman movie. But still, again, the live action Wonder Woman movie is very good. I reviewed the animated movie about 2 years ago. Go watch that. That is a very good movie. I am telling you. Now, Wonder Woman Bloodlines, that's garbage. That new 52 version. And so, people were really amazed and thrilled when they saw this live action Wonder Woman movie. Because remember, the first time we saw her was in Batman v Superman, when Zack Snyder brought her in with that very muted suit. And I remember when Gail got cast in this movie, see, the whole Wonder Woman movie thing has been in talk since 2003. They wanted Sandra Bullock. They wanted Angelina Jolie. They wanted Beyonce and Mariah Carey for some odd reason. Great singers, but who cannot act very well. And so, it was put in, development for, the longest time. Then it stopped, and they were going to do, Justice League Mortal or something like that, and that stopped. And so, when the DCEU was created, they needed a Wonder Woman, which we really never had that many live action Wonder Women before. I don't understand why. She's a great character. And, people can look up to her no matter what your gender is. And so, I remember when they said they were going to cast Gail, my first instinct was, oh, that lady from the fourth Fast and the Furious movie who's really skinny, really hot, but can't really act that well. But I'm all like, hey, I guess whatever. I mean, I wanted Bridget Reagan, but hey, we can't all get what we want and stuff. But I gotta give it up. Although I did not like her performance all that much in Batman v Superman until the action started at the end, she really impressed me, especially in this movie. Now, her acting, I see a lot of people get on to her acting. Some people say she can't act, some people say she can't act well. My interpretation of her acting is this. She has a very thick accent, and because we speak North American English and everything, we're not accustomed to hearing thick accents and how they're portrayed and how they pronunciate words. So a lot of people interpret that as bad acting when it actually is not. Now, sometimes her acting is not always there and needs a bit polishing, but for the most part, she's a pretty fair actress and everything. Like, she's pretty good and everything. It just sometimes she drops the ball and has to remember to pick it back up. Sometimes she does remember to pick it up, and sometimes she does not. And so, like, when this movie came out, it was like it just blew up. You know what I'm saying? It recouped its money and everything for the most part. It had like 121 million and got like I think, what was it, about 700 million or something like that. It did not reach a billion, but it was close. But this movie was the start of a transition in the DCEU, because originally with Batman v Superman and like Man of Steel, they was too dark and gritty for some people. And DC and Warner Bros. Starting to panic, and so around this time they were starting to change things up, make things more brighter and stuff, because Wonder Woman's costume is completely different from that of Batman v Superman. It's still the same design, it's just colorful now as opposed to being muted. Oh, also, Lucy Lawless was in talk of playing Wonder Woman, but she only wanted to play her if she was a flawed character, which is something she likes to do. She likes flawed characters and evil characters, but she did get to voice Wonder Woman in an animated movie. And so this was a transition when things were getting a bit more brighter, and it worked. This movie worked for a lot of different reasons. One, people loved the plot because they felt like they seen it someplace else. More on that a little bit later. They loved the action scenes because they felt like they seen them before. More on that later. They loved the side characters in this movie because they felt like they saw them someplace else. More on that a little bit later. They just loved the overall scope and everything of the movie. And why is that? Well, this movie was directed by Patty Jenkins. She directed the first and the second. Wonder Woman 84 was a train wreck of a movie. I do not like that movie whatsoever. And a lot of people wonder, how did Patty Jenkins fall from grace from that of the first movie? Well, it's because of this reason that I believe. See, I've reviewed Wonder Woman 84, but I've never done this movie yet because I wanted to rewatch it. But when it comes to Patty Jenkins, I saw a television show she created and I reviewed that. It's based on a true life story. And it's a really good show, but like I said in that show review, I've seen this style before. See, when everybody saw Wonder Woman, this movie, everybody was thrilled and amazed by what they saw, but they felt like they saw it before. I believe Patty Jenkins' true vision is what we saw in Wonder Woman 84. Everything else she does, she borrows from other, content. If it's a movie, she will borrow from another movie. If it's a television show, she will borrow from another television show. That television show I told you about, when I was watching, I'm all like, this kind of feels like that NBC Hannibal show. The visuals, the hallucinations, just the weirdness of it all very much felt like that. And I felt like she copied that Hannibal television show. When you watch Wonder Woman 2017, you've seen it before. It's called Captain America, the First Avenger. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. There are too many similarities from Captain America to that of Wonder Woman. Now, it's not all partially her fault. Zack Snyder is the one who decided that Wonder Woman was going to be set in World War II, which of course Captain America is. And so, she had to piggyback off of what he created because, he had this cinematic universe and, things had to feel and look similar. When you watch the action scenes, oh, that is Zack Snyder's style. The slow motion, the poses, like the quick, fast pace, like action and everything. That's him. And the reason for that is because his team helped work on this movie. His stunt people, his choreography people, his fight stunt team people, they helped out on this movie so it had that same visual look. Hence how she borrowed from, his movies and stuff, which that's just because it's all in that cinematic universe. By Wonder Woman 84, she fired all of Zack Snyder's people. And that's why that movie visually and just felt different. And so, okay, those action scenes are not that of her own. But then what about everything else? Well, speaking of Zack Snyder, he has a cameo in this movie, which I cannot find him anywhere. Anyway, so when it comes to that of Captain America, oddly, it's set in World War II. There is a unlikely hero who wants to stop the bad guys and bring peace onto the world. The hero fights with a shield. The hero allies themselves with a person of the opposite gender who they fall in love with. Both movies find a team of commandos to help them out midway through the movie. The male soldier makes that sacrifice in a plane of all things. It just is basically a copy and paste of like, oh, I ain't finished. Oh, and the villain is a person in plain sight until they reveal themselves to be more horrifying looking. Also, the hero befriends a soldier who is their ally throughout the movie as well. And so it's just basically copy and paste from that the Captain America movie, just like, rewritten to fit the narrative of Wonder Woman in the DCEU. You cannot escape that. And when she fired Zack's people and did 84, it looked, felt, sounds so different. And she put a lot of herself into that. And I believe that is truly her style. And so I don't know if I can truly say she's like a great film director and stuff, because I need to see another project from her that's unlike, that's not Wonder Woman related or that television show related. I need to see something different. And when it is, I need to see it in a style that I do not recognize. So I'm on the fence when it comes to her. And I do believe, yes, she deserves to be in director's jail because of Wonder Woman 84. Look, if it was good for Joel Schumacher, it's good enough for her. Now, this movie has some controversy. It was banned in another country because of girls like race. And also a theater in Texas decided to have an all-female screening with no men allowed. I do not like that. That is just messed up. If it would have been a male only screening, people would have like threw their hands up in the air and talked about equality. So I'm not cool with that whatsoever. But to this movie, I gotta say, that no man land fight scene, that is my Batman v Superman warehouse scene. That is a great scene from start to finish. So this movie has 3 villains, very ambitious. And they're kind of scattered, and the villains are kind of weak, okay, there's the general dude who's actually based on a real man from World War II. They just made a fictionalized version of him. I don't know how I feel about that. I would have preferred him to have like a fictional person. There's Dr. Poison, who is just there. She's just there making poisons. She's not a real threat. Her face is mangled for some bizarre reason. She's really good friends with like the general. Then Ares, like, does what he does at the end when it comes to her, and she's not really a threat. And I have no idea really who she is in the comics. But this was her first live action appearance. And I could have done without her. I could have done without the general. But then there's Ares, who's a man in disguise. And like I said before, the animated movie just did everything better. It made Ares a better character in the animated movie, where he was front and center and you know exactly all the bad stuff he did. Now, the plot is good, it's not perfect. Like, I wish they would explain more the island and how it's cloaked from like people's view. It's basically just like invisible, and then if you pass that invisible barrier, you'll see it. So it's kind of like the one from Justice League animated movie. I prefer the one from the animated movie. You have to touch something and then it decloaks itself. Diane's motivation for wanting to go to the world and all this other stuff was really flaky. She just automatically assumed, oh, well, it must be Ares. If there's a war going on in the world, it must be him. And the other one's all like, dude, he died. And then somebody was all like, well, he might have survived his wounds and everything. And it's just, I don't know. It was just odd. But I do like her naivete. Like, that's one of the great things about Wonder Woman. Every version you see is she's very naive. When she goes to our world for the first time, she doesn't know nothing. She is shocked and amazed by everything that's around her, especially that of ice cream, which is from the New 52. This movie borrows from the New 52, but it also sneakily borrows from the classic comics. But those classic comic references are just like fiction and everything. They're false, because her true origin story is that of New 52, where she is the daughter of Zeus and not made of clay, even though they say she is in the movie. I like how they did that. That was neat, because that's honoring the comics from the classic ones while also establishing the New 52 that they're going with and everything. And like, so the whole ice cream thing is so New 52. I do, like I said before, I love her naivete. Like, I love how when she sees Steve naked, there's that little weird awkwardness when, she asks if all men are like that, and he's like, I'm above average and everything. And then she's all like, well, what is that? He thought she was talking about his new, what? But it was actually, she was talking about something completely different. I wish she could have been more excited about some of the things she saw. Now, the baby scene was really cool because she just really sold that, like, and I like how she realizes that, in the world we live in, women are not men's equal and stuff. But like I said before, the animated movie does it so much more better. Go watch the animated movie. And so, like, this version of Steve Trevor is not sexist. He's not a misogynist pig like he was in the animated movie and stuff like that. And they made him more consider women equals and stuff like that. I'm okay with that. Like, I'm fine with that. They did a nice job with that and everything. I get it. It's past the Me Too movement, so they don't want no kind of controversy. Same thing with Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm okay with the live action one not being sexist because, it's because of this movie and stuff. If so many men keep complaining they're tired of seeing men in movies and TV shows being sexist, so then why in the world do they want a teenage boy to be an Avatar? But whatever. And so at least this Steve is somebody you can get behind. He's charming. He's not a pig. He wants to do the right thing. Like, like he's a great person and stuff. I do like the backstory between Zeus and how he created man and he created the Amazons to be their companions. That was a different twist. I've never heard that version before, and all the Greek mythology stuff I have seen in the past, but that was nice. And like, I love Etta Candy in this. She was great. The Amazon stuff was always amazing to watch. Like, I'm glad they didn't go for the supermodel type. I'm glad they went with bodybuilders and stunt women. One of the stunt women was the lady from Man of Steel, who people wanted to play Wonder Woman, but would have been awkward because we just saw her in Man of Steel. It was great to see young Diana wanting to train, but her mom wouldn't let her. Her mom hid the truth from her about her origin, talking about, you're born of clay, this and that, not realizing that she's the daughter of Zeus, and she wants to know what is the god killer weapon that Zeus left them to kill a god, and it turned out to be her, and she did not know that, and that is where her power comes from, because she's a whole lot more powerful than everybody else, creating lightning bolts and this and that. And people assume it was just her bracelets and stuff. I love all the action scenes. My God, they were so cool. Like, I love the slow motion, the poses, the punching, the bracelets and everything. How she used her shield, how she used her lasso. Although I hate how the lasso looks so animated, cartoonish, in live action and stuff. And as for Ares, well, he's Sir Patrick and everything. He's been pulling the strings behind the scenes and nobody knew. Because, see, Diana is so naive. She, for whatever reason, just believes Zeus is the culprit with no real evidence and everything. So she goes on this wacky mission to, like, bring him down and everything. And to slay him to stop this World War II. But everybody keeps trying to tell, like, dude, he's not here. He's not real. He's like, he's probably dead. And she will not, believe that. So she assumes the general might be Ares and stuff. And he has kind of like this Bane type strength type thing that's never really explained in the movie all too well, other than Dr. Poison making it. And so when she kills him, she realizes, oh, you're not Ares and stuff, until Ares is later revealed. Now, a lot of people hate the third act. It could have been better. It could have been better, like the animated movie. But it is what it is, and at least it was flashy. Like, I like that. And everything. I really liked how flashy it was. And so, she defeats Ares, Steve, does what he does with the gas and everything. He has his sacrifice moment. And, and it alters that from what we know from Batman v Superman, where Wonder Woman stopped being Wonder Woman after World War II because she lost the love of her life. But we see she came back in '84. Also, that picture that she took with the commandos, that's slightly different from the one we saw in Batman v Superman. But, one of the things that was kind of neat in this that I didn't realize, because I never knew this about Wonder Woman, that if a man ties her up or something like that, she loses her power. That's from the old comics. And they did a nod to that in the movie when Ares restrained her and everything. And that was really neat that they bring in elements of the old and the new. And this movie taught Wonder Woman, you gotta stop being naive, you gotta be smarter, you just can't rush into situations and stuff. You really gotta plan things through. There's a whole world out there that she doesn't realize, and she has to be like accustomed to it if she's going to continue being who she wants to be, which the DCEU did not do a very good job of that. I mean, she's a curator at the one place, so that's neat and stuff, but they could have done so much more with her. Like, they really could have. I still don't know why in Batman v Superman they wrote it to where she just gave up being Wonder Woman, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, man. But now, everything's rebooted and we're going to get a new version of Wonder Woman. If we get one, that is. Because so far, James Gunn has not talked about Wonder Woman yet. Which is odd. Why does she always get the shaft? Because Trinity has all had their own animated series, their live action series, and their live action movies, except for Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman still has not had an animated television series. She still hasn't had a live action TV series since that of Linda Carter. She's now been in live action movies, but that is now done. And she's been in tons of animated movies, but not so much live action. And I just don't understand why she's the main one who always gets the shaft. The movie starts off with Wonder Woman narrating to us as she's doing her curating thing, and she tells the story of how she met Steve and everything, but she goes further back than that. She pretty much, the movie starts from that where she's a kid, and she's very, adventurous and everything, running around, watching the women train and all this other stuff, and she wants to be a warrior and train. Her mom will not let her. So her aunt does it in secrecy until she is found out. So then They're going to train her in the way of a warrior and everything like that in case something bad happens, and they tell her the story of the gods and that of Ares. Next thing you know, when she's out and about older and near the ocean, she sees Steve Trevor and about to be attacked by some men. There's a huge fight where some of the Amazons get killed. Some of the CGI is a little wonky when you see objects moving in slow motion and stuff, and then in quick motion, but other than that, it's good. And so her aunt dies, and she wants to take Steve back to like our world, but mom's like no. So she does the Justice League animated movie thing where she steals the outfit and goes anyway, only to be confronted by her mom and gives her her blessing. From there, she interacts with Steve in our world, discovering all the like nuances and stuff. She meets Etta Candy and she wants to stop Ares. By there, she learns that men do not treat women as equal. And she gets really mad at those group of general men who will not listen to her and stuff because she thinks their plan is foolish. And so pretty much she goes with Steve to find these commandos, and they end up in no man's land where a woman talks about how people have been turned into slaves and they're being killed by the Germans. They never call the Germans the well, you can't say the word on YouTube, but it starts with like an N and end with an I. And I don't know why they don't call them that in the movie, but for whatever reason they don't. So she takes upon herself to free those men, even though that is not the mission. And I like that because it shows that she is a true hero when everybody else told her don't do it. And then once they see her kicking some major behind, they decide to aid her and everything, which gives the soldiers newfound hope in the people and stuff like that. Anyways, she thinks the general is like Ares and everything. She confronts him, kills him, and then nothing. And that's when we had that big climatic like battle between her and Ares that's all flashy and stuff like that. And Steve is a really good character who sacrifices himself for the betterment of mankind because he knows that the poisonous gas will kill millions of people. So he sacrifices himself in the plane, while Diana is too busy getting her butt kicked by that of Ares, but then realizes she has the power of the gods and stuff. Now, as for Diana and that of Steve, they're not, it's weird. They're love interests, but they're not. For her, it's kind of like love at first sight because he's the first real man she's ever seen. And for him, he's just doing his job and not really thinking about her that way until later on when he can see what she does and he can respect her even more. And when it comes to like the animated movie and stuff, there it was different. There, she was naive and trusted what people say, even though her mom say never trust a man because they've been shafted by men in the past. And when she sees his misogynist ways, she's disgusted by that, especially when he starts hitting on her. And it causes her to hate men, but then when she sees the courage in him, she slowly starts to not only develop feelings, but start to respect men altogether. It's something that the live action movie really should have like focused on because it would have been nice because she don't know what men are like. So she didn't really get like a good feel for it, you know what I'm saying? And it would have been nice if that would have been explored a whole lot more because for the most part, it is love at first sight when she sees him. But it's like, she needs a reason to not like him and then later on like him and stuff. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, well, I'll talk to you later. Bye.